Welcome, deep divers, to the deep dive. Today we're embarking on a really special exploration. We're diving deep into a Messianic Bible study, chapter by chapter, starting right near the beginning, in Genesis.
That's right. We're focusing today on chapter 2.
And our mission, our goal for this deep dive is to unpack Genesis 2, not just as, a simple retelling of chapter 1, but really as a rich, crucial, literary and theological expansion.
Exactly. It gives us such an intimate look, doesn't it, into the creation of humanity, our foundational purpose, really within Yahweh's grand design. It helps us understand our place.
Yeah, our place in his creation. And when you read these two chapters together, Genesis 1 and 2, it becomes pretty clear they aren't just repeating things or, worse, contradicting each other.
Not at all. As we've looked into it, they're incredibly complementary. They fit together, forming one cohesive, really powerful story.
It's like having two different camera angles, maybe. Each one shows you something unique about the same amazing truth. They really set the stage for everything that comes after.
Okay, so let's unpack this. What first struck me, and I bet a lot of you listening feel this too, moving from chapter 1 into chapter 2, it's the immediate shift, like the whole feel changes.
How so for you?
Well, Genesis 1 is just magnificent, right? This huge cosmic panorama, Yahweh speaks, and boom, universe, lights, stars, all by divine command. Sweeping, grand.
Yeah, totally. The scale is immense.
But then, chapter 2, it's like the camera zooms right in. Suddenly it feels incredibly intimate, focused, almost like a microscopic detail on humanity in this specific garden. It feels personal, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And, that leads some people to wonder, hang on, are these two different creation stories? Do they contradict? And I mean, it's a fair question if you're just looking at the surface.
Right. You can see why someone might think that initially. But when you dig deeper, it's clear these aren't conflicting narratives. They are, like you said, complementary views. Each one has a unique job to do, a unique purpose. Genesis 1 gives us that grand blueprint, the what and the when of creation. You could call it the ultimate cosmic architecture.
It's that powerful let there be light, ordering the chaos, majestic.
Precisely. And scholars looking at, the language style, the different names used for Yahweh, they often connect Genesis 1 to what's called the priestly or peace source. It's very structured, almost poetic. It focuses on Yahweh's immense power, the orderly steps of creation, building up to the Sabbath rest. It highlights Yahweh's transcendence, his otherness.
Okay, so Genesis 1 is the epic poem, the divine hymn of creation. But then Genesis 2, if that's the what and when, what does chapter 2 bring?
Genesis 2. This chapter is often linked to an earlier source called the Yahwist or J source, you can tell, because it uses the personal name Yahweh right from the start. And it shifts focus to the how and the why.
The how and why, okay.
Yeah. It's much more narrative, more detailed about specific actions. It concentrates on the personal creation of humanity and setting up our moral purpose within, the garden. And what's so fascinating is that this isn't a conflict. It's actually a deeper revelation.
So one gives the stage, the other the intimate drama on the stage.
You got it. Yahweh is revealing different layers of truth, and both are absolutely essential for us to grasp the full picture.
That makes sense. But for someone maybe wrestling with how these different literary styles fit with the idea of one divine author, how do these different lenses actually deepen our understanding?
That's a really important question for our faith, isn't it? Instead of seeing them as competing human accounts, we understand them as different divine emphases, shared through inspired human writers, of course.
Yep.
Think about painting a portrait. First, you sketch the whole thing, right? The general shape, the light source, that's Genesis 1. Then you zoom in. You add the details, the look in the eyes, the curve of the lips, the hair texture. That's Genesis 2.
I like that analogy.
Both are crucial parts of the same masterpiece, both from the same artist, but they show different things about its beauty and meaning. It just reminds us Yahweh can communicate profound truths in different ways, using varied literary styles. Each serves his purpose perfectly.
I see. So Genesis 1 is the grand plan for the whole building, maybe, and Genesis 2 is the detailed design for the most important room, the heart of the home.
Exactly. And notice how smoothly Genesis 2 picks up from chapter 1. It starts right off by affirming creation is complete, and it specifically mentions the seventh day of rest.
Right, directly linking back. It sets the stage.
Absolutely. The flow is very intentional. And this shift highlights moving from the universal down to the specific.
Zooming in.
Zooming in. And while obviously all creation is for Yahweh's glory, Psalm 19 tells us the heavens declare it. Genesis 2 signals something really profound. Humanity is the central drama.
The central drama. Wow.
Yeah. Now, that doesn't diminish the rest of creation at all, but it really highlights the special, unique relationship Yahweh wanted with humankind. We're set apart, designed for partnership, which makes you think, right, what does it mean for us today that we were Yahweh's central focus right from the beginning?
And what I find just incredible comparing the two is that intimate detail. Yahweh forming man from the dust of the Adamah.
Yes, the ground.
And the Hebrew word for ground, beautifully tying us to the earth. And then he breathes into his nostrils the breath of life, this hands-on creation. What does that tell us compared to just speaking things into being? It feels so connected.
Oh, it speaks volumes. It shows the intimacy of the act, Yahweh's personal investment. He doesn't just speak us into existence like light or sky. No, he forms man directly, with his own hands, you could say, from the earth itself.
That physical touch?
It signifies such a deep, profound connection. And then the breath of life, that's the neshama. That's the very spirit of Yahweh making us living souls, nefesh chaya, a reflection of the divine. It's not just existence, it's imbued existence.
Wow.
This direct, personal creation really speaks to our value, our spiritual dimension. It's what sets us apart from the rest of the animal kingdom.
And right after this incredibly personal act, we read about the planting of a special garden, Eden. This isn't just any piece of land, is it? It's specific. It's prepared.
Oh, definitely not just any land. The Garden of Eden is unique. And you know, for people in the ancient Near East, this idea would have really resonated.
How so?
Well, it wasn't just a pretty place. It was seen as a sacred space, kind of like a primeval temple where humanity could walk in close fellowship with Elohim. Many cultures back then had ideas about sacred groves or cosmic mountains where the gods lived, where humans could get close.
So Eden is more than paradise. It's like a sanctuary.
Exactly. A place of divine presence, prepared specifically for that holy relationship. A place of sustenance, beauty, and intimate communion with Yahweh himself.
And inside this perfect sacred garden, Yahweh gives the first human specific commands. There's so much freedom to eat from any tree, but just one prohibition. It seems like such a small restriction in the face of all that freedom.
Precisely. And that's key. This isn't really just about food. It's about establishing humanity's moral purpose. It introduces choice, responsibility, and the possibility of a relationship based on trust and obedience, not just instinct. Choice and trust. Yeah. Yahweh sets boundaries, not to be restrictive in a negative way, but actually to protect and guide. It's a test, really. A test of loyalty, of love. A way for humanity to participate willingly in Yahweh's order. This is the foundation of covenant relationship, isn't it?
It really is.
Yahweh offers blessing within certain parameters, and our response is meant to be obedience. You see that pattern all through the Torah, through the prophets.
Then we get to what I think is just one of the most powerful lines in the whole Torah. Yahweh saying, "It is not good for man to be alone." It's so striking because everything else he made, he looked at it and said, it is good. So I wonder, why was this not good? And then the solution, creating woman from the man's rib. Why the rib? What's the significance there?
That statement, it is not good for man to be alone. It is incredibly profound. Think about it. Even in a perfect garden with everything provided, direct fellowship with Yahweh, something essential was still missing.
Even with Yahweh there.
Even with Yahweh there. It suggests this wasn't just about physical aloneness. It was a deep relational need in Adam's very being. A spiritual, emotional void only another human could truly fill. It's Yahweh himself declaring that we are designed for companionship, for it's centered that deep, complex unity.
So relationship isn't just nice to have, it's fundamental to how we're made.
Absolutely fundamental. It's central to our created purpose and the creation from the rib. So symbolic.
How so?
Well, think about it. She isn't taken from his head, suggesting she's meant to rule over him. She's not taken from his feet, suggesting she's meant to be trampled on. No, she's taken from his side, near his heart.
From his side.
It signifies equality, partnership, deep unity. It beautifully portrays her as a co-equal helper, an Ezer Kenegdo, a partner perfectly suited to him in life and purpose. This act establishes the foundational principles of companionship in marriage. It shows Yahweh's original design for relational intimacy, mutual support. It's about two becoming one flesh, an inseparable bond. And that itself reflects Yahweh's own desire for unity with his people.
And this foundational idea of marriage from Genesis 2, it's not just some ancient concept left behind, is it? Yeshua himself picks it up.
Oh, absolutely. He refers directly back to Genesis, doesn't he? In Matthew 19 and Mark 10, when he's teaching about marriage and divorce, he says, "For this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh."
Quoting Genesis directly.
Directly. He's not inventing something new. He's reinforcing the divine design Yahweh established right at the beginning. It underlines the timelessness, the authority of the Torah.
And didn't Rabbi Shaul Paul take this even further, connecting it to Yeshua and the believers?
He certainly did. In Ephesians 5, Paul talks about marriage, and then he calls it a profound mystery, relating it to the deep unity between Yeshua and his assembly, the Kahila.
The community of believers.
Yes, the called out ones. Just as husband and wife become one flesh, Yeshua and his followers are joined in this incredibly deep spiritual intimacy. The bridegroom and the bride image. It shows that the principle from Genesis 2 carries this timeless spiritual weight, reflecting Yahweh's desire for relationship, not just between humans, but between himself and his people through Yeshua. It's a beautiful way Scripture interprets Scripture, showing the enduring and messianic nature of Yahweh's design.
Wow. Okay, so bringing this all together, as followers of Yeshua, believing the whole Bible, Tanakh, and Brit Hadasha is true, it's applicable, what does this deep dive into Genesis 2 really mean for us today? How does understanding this impact our daily lives, our purpose, relationships, how we see creation, our walk with Yahweh?
Well, I think it means a huge amount. First, it just powerfully underlines the incredible value Yahweh places on us, on humanity. We're not an accident, not an afterthought. We are, as our study material put it, the central drama.
That's a strong phrase.
It is. We're meticulously formed, breathed into life by Yahweh himself, placed in a garden he prepared. That truth alone should give us a deep sense of worth, of purpose. We're Yahweh's handiwork, made in his image.
Well, it really grounds our identity, doesn't it?
Exactly. And second, it brings relationships right to the forefront. Our primary relationship, of course, is with Yahweh. We're made to walk with him, like Adam did in the garden. So that calls us to actively cultivate that deep personal fellowship with our Creator, which we now access through Yeshua. And then flowing from that, those foundational principles of companionship and marriage highlight how sacred our human bonds are meant to be. Our families, our friendships, the covenant of marriage especially, these aren't just social structures. They're designed for mutual support, for love, for growth, and, importantly, for reflecting Yahweh's own relational character to the world around us.
So it calls us to be really intentional about those relationships and about our purpose.
Precisely. It encourages us, I think, to really ponder our own moral purpose and responsibility in Yahweh's design today. What does it mean for me, for you, to be a steward of creation now? To obey his commands, the Torah, as lived out through Yeshua, to live in a way that truly reflects his image, his character. Genesis 2 gives us that blueprint for true human flourishing. Life lived in relationship with Yahweh, in loving community with others, and responsibly caring for his creation. It reminds us we're made for relationship, for purpose, and for walking with our Creator through our Messiah, Yeshua. What stands out to you, listener, thinking about Yahweh's meticulous personal creation in this chapter?
As we start to wrap up this deep dive into Genesis 2, the key things sticking with me are, well, first, it's definitely not just a repeat of chapter 1. It's this intimate complementary story. It reveals humanity's unique creation, our deep moral purpose, and the divine founding of marriage, all inside Yahweh's grand, loving, and ultimately messianic plan.
Yeah, and it really hammers home that truth. Yahweh created us for a special, personal relationship. It's the absolute core of why we exist, a relationship that finds its ultimate fulfillment in Yeshua the Messiah.
So as you go about your week, we want to leave you with maybe a provocative thought to reflect on. If humanity really is Yahweh's central drama, and if our very design points to this deep need for relationship with him and with each other, what does that truly mean for how you live your life? How you love, how you obey Yeshua day to day? Does that change your perspective on your choices, your relationships, your whole walk of faith?
Let that thought simmer. Let it guide your steps. We really hope you'll join us next time for the next chapter of the Deep Dive, our Messianic Bible study.
As we wrap up today's study, let's pause and reflect on what we've learned and receive the blessings of Yahweh.